All right, everyone. So we're going to jump into it here, go over the trades from today. This is a green day. Recouped the losses from yesterday, back in the green, which is great. And today is the last day of April. So overall, finishing April here, it must be about $44,000 of profit or something like that. It'll make it the second best month of the year. Best month being in February when I was up over 100,000. January was pretty good as well. We can look at the metrics here. I didn't import my trades from yesterday or from certainly today yet. But if we look at January gross was 36,000. February gross 131,000. March gross only 20,000. And this was, this could have been a great month, but I had, a couple of bigger red days right here and then 2 red days here. But nonetheless, 20,000 is good. And then here for April, not including yesterday and today, I was at 43,000. So yesterday was a red day recap, down $483. And today is a green day. So let's jump into the scans, and I'll start to break down the trades that I took this morning. Okay, so as always, this morning, sat down relatively early. Must have been around. Well, I was looking at the scans on my phone around 7, and what I noticed fairly early on my scans. I'll just show this to you here. It's a little dark in my office, but I noticed that our leading gappers were relatively low, 47%. So I was like, oh, that's not great. And this is just the last time I refreshed it at 7:30 or so. But nonetheless, when I realized that we didn't have any big gappers again today, I was like, it's gonna be another slow market. I sort of struggle with this because I get this I miss the hot momentum. I miss those big moves, and I get a little impatient and a little just missing that. So I got a little bummed out, but I was like, all right, well, anyways, I'm going to come and sit down as I do every single day. I'm here with you guys in the trenches trading day in, day out, like the mailman, rain or shine. So came over, sat down, pulled up CYCC leading gapper. I was like, no, don't like it. So what didn't I like about it? The chart, this is a stock that started the move after hours here and then continued a little bit pre-market. And interestingly, right at 7, sort of did this nosedive. I don't usually like to trade when the move starts after hours. I prefer when the news begins pre-market. Because here's the thing. If the news starts after hours here, then by pre-market, it should be way higher. And a lot of times you get sort of that initial reaction and then it drops back down. Now, if we look at this stock here, just on another day, we got this huge squeeze and then this complete reversal. So this is a stock that has obviously shown that it has no issue reversing and trapping traders and being pretty nasty. So CYCC, that was a no-go. I was sure about that. AGBA, this one pre-market, they put out the same headline they've been putting out like 3 or 4 other times, that they've got this merger agreement, and it pops up here at 9 a.m. And I was kind of like, well, but it's the same headline. It drops back down, it pushes higher, and that first pullback on the 5-minute worked. It dips down, and then at the open, it squeezes up to 340, pulls back for a second, and then shoots up to 430. Drops down, comes up here, rejection, drops back down. I didn't trade it. On the 1-minute chart, I was looking at it, and I sort of got a little tempted, but the problem was, I didn't trade the first pullback. I didn't trade this second pullback. And then in this area, I just thought it was a little too extended. You sort of got this jackknife and then this rip back up here. Topping tail candle, sells off relatively hard, and then comes back up, gets slammed back down. So MACD crossover here, wasn't going to trade after that point there. So, or there roughly. So I was like, nope, this was the front side of the move. And the fact is, I underestimated it. When we were sitting at 340, I was just thinking to myself, I don't think this is going to do much. It's a grinder. It's thickly traded. These are very congested. So it ended up making a bigger move than I expected, which is great to see. And the more we see that, the more I'll be willing to step up to the plate and start trading these. But in the last week and a half, what we've been seeing instead is a lot of chop. When this popped up a couple days ago, when it first had that news, 2 red candles in a row. It's just been choppy. So I just didn't have high expectations of it. The relative volume is still pretty low today compared to the previous days, but it did end up working. So good job for those that traded it, but I didn't touch that. Next one down was GMM. Didn't trade this one either due to the price being a little too cheap. Does have quite a lot of volume today, but I just thought it was too cheap. WGS. Didn't trade this one. Floats a little higher at 18 million shares. ELYM. $7 a share. The price is okay. 4 million share float, but wasn't really moving that much pre-market, but it's up more now. Mullen. So I'll look at this one for a second. My problem with Mullen is that I think you have a lot of bag holders on this from traders who bought it when it was sort of, really hyped up during, I don't know, what was this, like 2020, 2021? And now, it's just sold off so much. I'm just worried that there's bag holders. Now, it may go higher. It did have some nice news out yesterday, but I don't know. I'm just not interested in pushing my luck with that stock. It's definitely more thickly traded. It's not easy. All right, so what did I trade? So this morning, the only stock I traded was AUUD. This one came out with news at 8 a.m., and I saw it moving up my scanner. And I basically, at the top and the bottom of the hour, I'm always sitting and watching for news. So AUUD pops up, and I'll jump onto the 10-second chart so I can show you where I got in. I saw it pop, and then that was right here when it first started popping up. I saw that it had news, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get in right here. I'll buy the first dip. So I bought that first dip there, took 2,500 share starter, added another 2,500 shares, so 5,000 shares. It squeezes up to 230, 240, 269, hits a high of 277, and then it drops to 229. It pops back up here, and I ended up getting out with an average price of about 235 or something like that. So I was in at an average of 203 down here, 5,000 shares, and I was out at about 240, something like that. So locked up on that trade, $1,800, which is not bad. It was enough for me to be over my $1,000 goal, my first $1,000 of the day. So at that point, I increased my share size from the cap of 5,000. I moved the cap off, and I was ready to step up for the next trade. But then AUUD kind of faded. Had a high volume red candle here, drops back down. So then this was out of play. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to get any more trades on this one. And then I just said, all right, well, that was 8 a.m. That was news at the top of the hour. I'll just keep watching news. So then 8:30 comes. We don't have anything that's strong, right? 9 o'clock comes and we have AGBA that pops up, but I'm thinking, nah, I don't think I like this one, Anyways, underestimated it, but didn't trade it. And then next thing you know, it's the open, and we don't have anything that to me looks really obvious. So now it's about 10:30, and I feel like the window was sort of limited today. There wasn't a lot of opportunity. I'm glad I got green, recouped the loss from yesterday easily. And hey, I'll just finish the month like this. So, this all comes back to knowing when to lean in, knowing when to be aggressive, and knowing when to ease off the throttle. So we were talking about this book again today, The Power of Knowing When to Walk Away, Quit by Annie Duke. I recommend it. I think it's a great read. And she talks about this example or this study of taxi drivers in New York City and the tendency of taxi drivers to drive until they make a certain amount of money. And then on days when, they make their goal in 2 hours, they just stop. Whereas on days where they're not making any money, they just drive and drive and drive, waiting and waiting and waiting. And I think that that's interesting because I think traders tend to do the same thing. We tend to walk away as soon as we hit our goal, but on days when we don't get it, we're just waiting and waiting and trading and trading. And it would actually be better if we limit ourselves on days when it's cold and trade less. And on days when it's hot, we trade as long as we can until, things slow down. So by doing that, you would actually, according to the taxi driver study, you would make more money as a driver. I think the same is true with trading, though. I think the same logic applies. So is today the type of day I should dig deep and, trade through the morning and into the afternoon and through power hour? I'm not seeing anything that would justify that right now. I think today is the type of day where, volume is spread across a couple different stocks. These have decent volume. AGBA has good volume. Mullen has decent volume, but the price action isn't really that clean, and I just don't see it. So I think this is the type of day to know when to walk away early, to take the profit, to hit the road, and then come back and try to do it again tomorrow. After all, today is the last day of April, so it's nice to finish the month with a couple of green trades. And then tomorrow, we're starting a brand new month, and we're all going to start in the exact same place. We're going to start the month at 0. And so to get ourselves off to a strong start tomorrow, my plan is to focus on highest quality setups so I can have really good accuracy. If I can have really good accuracy, my profit loss ratio will be better as a result, and most likely my consistency will also improve through the rest of the week. That could get me a really good start to the month of May. If I could do that, the wind will be at my back. I'll be starting with confidence and then go into the rest of the month feeling really good. Now, for those of you guys that want to join me, make sure you check out our anniversary sale, which ends today. Today is the last day of the anniversary sale. It's ending later today. So, we were ending it in April. April's the month of our anniversary. So those of you guys who haven't already checked out our special sales that we've got going on, come over to the website, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link in the top of the comments so you can click over and check out the sales we've got for becoming a member at Warrior Trading. All right, so we'd love to have you guys join, and I want to thank you as always for tuning in to this recap, and I'll be back at it bright and early tomorrow. So reminder as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning.